It's Volume, Feedback, Nick Carter, Lori Majewski, and Goddess Gwen Stefani is in the building.
Gosh, I'm so honored to be back. There's not 1 second that I don't take, I'm not taking this for granted. Hello, microphone. Hello. I'm like, it's exciting. New music.
Yeah, well, you pissed me off already, man.
Why?
Because most people, I hate it when people get their Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving. You got a whole album.
I've been doing Christmas since I think April or something, and I am so I don't understand. I'm so into it. I'm not tired of it yet. I'm really this is probably gonna be my favorite Christmas I've ever had because I have a Christmas record. I wanted to do it for so long, and it's been so fun. It hasn't let me down. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I always wanted to do it, and here it is, and I'm just gonna marinate in.
Did you have a favorite Christmas record growing up? Because for the longest time, the biggest artist ever did one, but now it's kind of a rarity.
Is it? I feel like it's a lot of traffic out there. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize because when you're listening to Christmas music on the radio, you forget how many things that you know when you're actually paying attention. But my favorite Christmas album ever is a Christmas record called "The Light of the Stable" by Emmylou Harris. She is that was my record growing up. Just so nostalgic when I hear it, and she's so gorgeous. And I love you, Emmylou Harris. You're my favorite.
Well, one of my favorite Christmas songs is on this, Last Christmas by Wham.
Yeah, me too.
That's one of my favorite. We're 80s girls.
Yes, we are.
So, but you kind of reimagined it a bit. It's not straight down the middle.
It's true, and I'm proud of that because I think after being on The Voice, you sort of it's a whole world of being around covers. You know what I'm saying? So you get this new, and I've never done that. With No Doubt, we did one cover, "It's My Life," which actually is one of my favorite songs to do live. But we never, I always sang my own song. I think that was the hardest thing about doing this record was actually singing the classics. And that song, like you said, was an instant classic for us because, it's interesting when you are making a Christmas record, you're thinking about those songs wow, that was a new song, but it was instantly the backdrop to my life growing up in high school. So it just felt like a classic. But I think what was cool about our version and what I was, a little bit pressurized about was flipping it and making it completely different. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't, obviously I can't sing like him. I mean, he is just and also when you start memorizing the melody that he wrote, it's like a bunch of ad libs. It's actually genius.
And Gwen, you know what happened last Christmas? We lost him. This is the first time hearing that song.
That's right.
In the walk up to Christmas, that when I heard that, I had a lump in my throat. I'm like, wow, it's kind of a tribute to George too.
It is, and I don't think that even when I made the list of songs, I was really I didn't think hard about it because I didn't want this to be I want it to be fun and easy, and I didn't want to have any. I just wanted to be whatever. There's no pressure in it. It's you either like Christmas music and are going to listen, or you're not. So it's fine. Whatever. I'm doing it because I want to do it, and it's that song was on the list either way. You know what I mean? It wasn't I want to do a tribute. It was that is the song I want to do because that is the backdrop of my life. I have to do that one.
I dig. She was talking about reimagining that. The album has kind of a 60s throwback, almost Phil Spector feel.
Yeah.
That big. Was that the goal?
Well, it's funny because when I was going to first have the idea to do the record, I didn't know what style to do. I was okay, ska, reggae, pop. I kind of was a little bit confused because I've done so many different genres, and I knew that I wanted to kind of sum that up. And it was actually Busby, who is the co-writer and producer of the record, who I met through Blake, because Blake was I was trying to think, who should I work with? Because I didn't want to work with someone I already worked with, really, because I wanted to keep going and learning. And so he recommended him. He's very he's from San Francisco. He's my age. He's just he's very traditional. He works on every instrument, and he's just a master. And he, after we wrote 2 songs, he was had this light bulb go off. He's I know what it needs to be. It needs to be kind of punk and rock, because that's where you come from, in that world of Orange County, but it's but in that classical, traditional way. And he was it has to be the Ronettes or the, Phil Spector. And it weirdly sounds sometimes like an old No Doubt record when you actually listen to this record, to me, because it has the horns and it has all the live musicians on it and it's organic, you know what I'm saying? So
I thought it had a bit of a country twang to it. There's twangy guitars. And I'm not sure if this is me just reading into it. My husband's from New Orleans. And your boyfriend's from down south. You got a little southern accent on some of these songs.
That's
I think.
very strange.
And I see some people shaking their heads over there.
I'll tell you something. I've been told my entire life that I have like an accent, like a country, whatever, Southern. But I always say Southern California. Yeah, that's I do have a Southern accent. You know what I'm saying? So
Southern California.
but it is true. They've always told me that for as long as I can remember, since I've been doing interviews and stuff. I was like, really? I don't hear it, but not compared to somebody I know. Whoa, that is like another level. I used to not be able to, when I'd be on The Voice, I'd be like, my head, you can't see me right now, but my head's turning like a dog. Like, what is that sound coming out of your mouth? Like, is that, you're faking? Like, and then now, like, you're faking, that's not really your accent. And then when Blake would speak, and then now it's like, it makes me sad because I'm so used to it that I don't notice it as much anymore.
Do you kind of pick it up when you're around him? Because you know how you're
close
to somebody?
Hopefully, that would be like a poser, right? Like, hopefully not. I was going to say hopefully not hopefully.
Well, I also wanted to ask you, it is the 25th anniversary of the first No Doubt album. Gosh. And I am pretty shocked. I've been seeing it all over the No Doubt socials. I saw Tony this last weekend. He said hello. I went to see Dream Car, which is one of my favorite records of the year.
That's so awesome.
And it's so amazing because I first met you in Tragic Kingdom, the day Tragic Kingdom went #1, and I can't
made
believe
my stomach get nervous and and when you showed me, well, the picture you just showed me, I was like, gosh,
yeah,
it is
I showed her a picture of us from 1995, and we both were just like such little punks.
I was a little bougie.
So what was it? I mean, when you look back now, 25 years ago, which was a very ska record, who was that Gwen? Like, what do you remember most about making that record?
I was, I'd already been in the band forever at that point because we started the band. I was 17, and I think I was in mid-20s when Tragic Kingdom came out. But we were a little bit frustrated. We were 9 years in the band already. You know what I mean? We weren't going anywhere. Like, we were just like, okay, it's fine. At least we all have our college backup plan. You know what I mean? Like, we never thought we were making it. We never did it to make it, and that's the honest truth. And for us, making it was like being able to play shows, and then it turned into another fantasy of making a record, which took forever and never was going to happen. And nobody ever liked, the writing. And it was just like an ongoing project. But Tragic Kingdom, it's interesting because I look back at my writing and I think everything was always about this like tortured, like heartbreak, you know what I mean, that I went through to make those records. And Tragic Kingdom would never have been that if Tony didn't totally break up with me and destroy me. Thank you, Tony, very much. And I still say it because it's the truth. And it wasn't until that happened that I was able to kind of like find my gift, because I didn't even know how to write a song before that happened. You know what I'm saying? I just, all of a sudden it was like, blah, you know what I mean? Like, it all came out. And I kind of was like, wait a minute, I'm going to call Tony. Tony, I think I just wrote a song about you. It's like this really mean song. And he's like, wow, that's really good. But he's like, ouch, But how do I feel about that record? It's just so bizarre that we would ever, or I would ever get anywhere. We were just so innocent and just doing it for fun, and I feel so lucky to have all these years of doing music. It seems kind of unfair because there's so many gifted, talented people that work so hard at it. And I'm not saying we didn't work hard. I just think it's just crazy to me.
Well, I always wondered, we're talking to Gwen Stefani, by the way.
Hi.
I always wondered, hello, so during the No Doubt period, you were so part of the quote-unquote ska core scene. You know, you looked it, you lived it. I mean, you sang with Sublime. So when you went solo, I always wondered, like, what your plan was. I mean,
I didn't have a plan. All I know, it's sometimes I try to like, it's so different when people ask you questions about your life because you normally you wouldn't think about it. But I just think I knew we were taking a break for the first time ever. We had gone back to back all these years, and Adrian was the first one to get married, and he was having a baby. So I think that's when he was the first to get burned out. Like, I gotta have a time, and I don't know, just. These ideas just come down, and it was like, okay, a light bulb, I want to do a dance record. I think I was starving to do something that was kind of, like you said, the backdrop to my high school years and all the bands that were influencing me outside of like my Orange County scene and like, ska music and stuff like that. Because, my first records, like I said, Emmylou Harris, I'm trying to think of all the other stuff that I grew up on. The Annie soundtrack, Avita, like the girly side of me, you know what I mean? And for me to be able to like indulge in that girly side was something I really fantasized about, I guess. So we had a little break. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. And Tony actually was a really big part of it. We wrote a lot of that record together, and he, I couldn't do anything without like showing him, you know what I mean? I'm like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And so it was a lot of fun. It was really fun for both of us. He's the one that actually, that's not really true. I was going to say he turned me on to Prince, but I was into Prince, but he was like a Prince maniac when I met him. So.
Well, I know Blake has a duet on your Christmas record, and I wanted to ask, if you're ska and reggae, that's what you were raised on, and he's raised on country, where do you meet? What do you listen to when you're driving in the car?
Well, it's weird because when we did meet, we were both shocked like by what we loved. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like for me, I grew up with parents that were from the '60s, and my dad played guitar, my mom played auto harp, and they like, you know, they were really into folk music. So I was like bluegrass festivals that we went to when we were little, and so that was it's not the same as country, but it's familiar, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's cousins.
And Emmylou Harris they saw her at a show because they were at a bluegrass festival and blah blah blah. So anyways, we have a lot of things that we love that are the same. Like one of my favorite genres is just like, I just like cheesy love songs. Like it doesn't matter. Like I guess they call it yacht rock or whatever, but I don't.
Yeah, we have a whole yacht rock channel.
Christopher Cross.
I like that stuff a lot. Like I love Bread. Like that's one of my favorite groups. And so I think we meet in the middle somewhere there. Like anything about like love songs that are like beautiful melodies and stuff like that. And he's crazy jukebox. Like he knows so much music and everything outside of country and everything in country as well. So it's crazy.
Well, it's good to see you so happy.
I am so happy.
I'm happy to see you so happy.
Thank you so much.
Rules, right?
It's so, I'm just going to say, doing a Christmas record, it's just so fun because there's so much joy in it, and it's just so fun to spread that, especially right now. Like, I just feel like we all need to take a break, you know what I mean, from just being judging, and let's just have some fun. Like, let's just have some love, you know? I feel like when we grew up, it was like, give peace a chance. Like, come on, let's go back there, guys.
Feed the world.
Yes, let's do it. Come on, joy, happy, peace, love.
You make it feel like Christmas. Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't even get a chance to ask you. Well, like everybody knows about you and Pharrell, but I've never heard you talk about working with Dr. Dre.
I know, isn't that crazy? When I watched that documentary, is that what you're talking about?
The Defiant Ones.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm cool. Like, I can't believe I did that stuff. Like, I had no business like working with Dr. Dre. I mean, he is like next double layer above everything. And that was Jimmy Iovine, and he just was like, you're gonna work with him. I was like, I do whatever you say, boy. But he's a genius, and it was super scary, and he wasn't it wasn't easy, and he was like, he's super hard to work with. Hi, Dre. Hi, Dr. Dre.
Really?
He knows it. He made me cry.
He's a perfectionist.
He's a perfectionist. I mean, it is like the amount of times he would do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. I was like, wait, I'm sorry, but I'm from Orange County. I don't understand what I'm doing again. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, how should I do it different? Like, I'm not hearing behind the beat. I'm like, what does that mean, behind the beat? I'm like, ah!
Glad I asked.
I know, reliving some horrible memories. No, I love working with him.
Gwen Stefani, you rock.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging with us.
We'd love to talk to you another time.
Let's
more
talk
music
more.
conversation. It's so much fun.
It is fun.